We are coming to you from that city beautiful, Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon, Comcast Sportsnet Plus presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Alexei Ramirez, Avisaíl Garcia and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Victor Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody. Welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson. We get set to bring you Game 2 of this four-game set and Game 1 of this day-night doubleheader. The other one will start at 6:10 this evening. But in the first game, we have one of the best pitching matchups baseball is going to have all year for us out there today, Chris Sale.
Chris Sale going to the mound, and he hasn't won a ball game since July 26th. That being said, he's still throwing very well, as was illustrated against the Yankees, where he gave up 4 runs. They were all unearned. So Sale looking for a bounce back today. You know, when you have the stuff he has, all you have to do is get it over the plate, which he does consistently. And against the Tigers over the course of his career, he's 4-5, but a fine ERA of 2.85. So with batting average against a 220, you're talking about a good one, and he's got to worry about Victor Martinez. Everybody worries about Victor. However, he's hitting .520 against Chris with a couple of home runs, 3 doubles, 4 driven in. And this guy, who's the hottest hitter on our ball club, is the best clutch hitter also, so Chris has his work cut out for him.
Well, we got our work cut out for us today because they got their ace going, last year's Cy Young Award winner.
Max Scherzer is having a remarkable year once again. Seemingly he does it every year, but against the Sox this year he's been especially tough. We're going to show you a strikeout from every one of his victories over the Sox, and they'll count 4 because he's 4-0 against them. He hasn't given up much of anything. He's been brilliant this year. He's 12-5 lifetime against our Sox, and this is what he's done this year. 4 starts, 4-0, ERA under 1. And when you look at those numbers, no surprise why he's won 4 games. But he's got a tough mound opponent. This is going to be some matchup.
All right, Game 1 of the split doubleheader. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Field. It's a beautiful day today. 81 degrees. The wind very much a factor, blowing out toward left center. It's a bit humid, but the raindrops have stayed away, and that's a good thing as we play 2. And things are heating up in the Central. Brad Ausmus finds his club 1/2 game in back of Kansas City entering play today. Cleveland 4.5 back. And the Sox can only play the role of the spoiler, and they've got their best pitcher going to the mound in Chris Sale. So let's take a look at how Brad Ausmus is going to line up his Tigers today. So Ian Kinsler leading off. Torrey Hunter in the 2 spot. Miguel Cabrera hitting 3rd. Victor Martinez, the very tough and very hot Victor Martinez, the DH, with J.D. Martinez in left. Nick Castellanos, Ryan Holiday, Eugenio Suarez, and Rajay Davis rounded out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Chris Sale. It's Diaz, Eaton, and Avisail Garcia in the outfield. With Gillespie, Ramirez, Sanchez, and Adam Dunn at first base today. Tyler Flowers will get the nod behind the plate in Game 1. And Chris Sale on the hill for his 22nd start. He's 10-3, ERA 2.03 with 165 big strikeouts and 142 innings. A definite candidate for the Cy Young Award. And obviously, with all of these guys, it's going to depend how they come up, whether it comes up big in September or not. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Scott Berry behind the plate, Marcus Patillo is at first, Las Diaz is at second, and the crew chief Jeff Nelson is at third. And so we're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. And good morning, each and all, as we get set for the first of this split doubleheader. First game being brought to you by Comcast Sportsnet Plus. So our big 6'6" southpaw, Chris Sale, getting ready to throw the first pitch to Ian Kinsler. Kinsler comes in hitting it .278, 12 homers, and 71 knocked in. So here we go. First pitch strike.
Against Chris Sale lifetime, Ian Kinsler's been pretty tough, but he's a pretty good ball player against anybody.
Yep. They've got a lot of guys that have had good success against Chris. Kinsler 5 for 17 with a homer. And there's the strike, so the count 1-2. Tigers come in hitting at .274 as a ball club with a 4.05 ERA. Tigers 30-30 on the road, 38-30 at home. That's high, foul, and souvenir time. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. Outfield slightly to the right. And that ball hit deep. And it is 1-0 Detroit. Fastball. He's a good fastball hitter. One of the better high fastball hitters in the American League.
A Ford home run replay, and it's number 13 off the bat of Ian Kinsler. He's now driven in 72. Chris probably wanted that one low and in. Got it around belt high and in and gone.
So here's Torrey Hunter hitting the 280. And he rips that first pitch into left field. Torrey now 3. Check that, 6 for 21 with a homer off Chris.
Couple of longtime players and good players as Torrey Hunter grabs a piece of the big man at first.
So here's Cabrera, 6 for 24, couple of homers. Lifetime off sale. And very quickly to count 0-2. Cabrera 0 for 5 last night.
Hit one ball real well. Not much to show for it. Deep fly to center field.
Yeah, wind knocked that and kept it in the ballpark.
But other than that, he didn't look like the normal Miguel. He's had an ankle injury. Had all kinds of problems after sports hernia surgery in the wintertime. He's still good. But is not quite up to his standards of the last couple of years.
He gone. 1 out.
Heats him upstairs. And at 96, he just can't get on top of it.
And here comes a man who has been red hot. Comes in hitting it 328, 26 homers, 85 knocked in. And he is hitting a smooth 520 against Chris. He is 13 for 25 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. Victor. Last night, 2 for 5. Gap out there in left center. And that breaking ball high. Last year of his contract is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And that slider hit high and deep. And it is 3-0.
If you watch the open, we told you at the top of the show that the one man he's got to really worry about is the guy that just hit the ball out of the ballpark. Martinez's 27th home run. He's now driven in 87. And he just has his number. Our forward home run replay. Tried to get this ball probably in, down, and off the plate. It had a big part of the plate. And with the wind blowing that way, and the swirling wind, helped take it out.
So that'll bring up J.D. Martinez, who was 3 for 5 last night. He comes in hitting at 312, 17 homers, and 58 driven in. There's a slider strike. Change up. It's one of those games where you really like to have a redo or a mulligan.
Especially against Max Scherzer.
Oh, we're just getting them in shape to where we want them to be. False sense of security, you know.
Lulling them into the false sense of security early before we come back and jump on them.
Yes. Told you that story where Clemens was pitching for the Yankees, and he had after 2 innings had a 9-0 lead. Well, he didn't get out of the third, and this was in his heyday.
That can happen. Lose your concentration, it can happen.
There's that change up. He gone. 2 down. Just looking at the K zone out there. They're not quite as enthusiastic as.
Well, there's a few didn't know it was a 12 o'clock game, so they'll come maybe a little bit later. But they'll probably, before it's all said and done, have a whole lot of strikeout celebrations. The question is, can you get 3 off Scherzer?
Castellanos takes first pitch strike. He's 1 for 6 off Chris. And that is Souvenir right side. So 2 out, 1 and 2 the count. That changeup was outside. He gone. But some damage is done. Home run by Kinsler. 2-run homer by Victor Martinez. And after a half inning of play, it is 3-0. Bad guys.
Ramirez in the 2 spot. Then it's Jose Abreu, the DH. Adam Dunn, Abasayo Garcia, Connor Gillespie, who's been very good this year against the righties, Alejandro Diaz, Tyler Flowers, and Carlos Sanchez to round it out. And the defense behind Max Scherzer. It's Martinez, Davis, and Hunter in the outfield with Castellanos, Suarez, Kinsler, and Cabrera in the infield. Ryan Holiday behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Max Scherzer, on for his 28th start. 15-4, the ERA 3.13, 209 strikeouts in 181 innings, only 50 walks. He is a tough customer.
Got a lot of pitches, and he can get them all over. There's first pitch strike. And before we show you our pitch to click, you at home select yours.
Pretty good slider, didn't get the call, and Adam Eaton very happy about that. 0-2 against Scherzer is not an enviable place to be.
You know, Adam, 3 for 4 last night. Hitting at .310, a homer. He's driven in 33. Sox come in hitting at .256 as a team with a 4.39 ERA. Sox 32 and 35 here at home. This is the 14th meeting between our two teams. In the first 13, Tigers have won 7 of them. Full count. And there's a good way to start it. So with the leadoff man aboard, let's check out our pitch to click this afternoon. Jim Angio, our director and the crew, going with Alexei. Steve's going with Alejandro, and Frankie and Michael Cristiano. Twin boys, and I are going to go with Adam Eaton. Just got that base hit. And here's Alexei. Alexei 0 for 5 last evening. And he's had a tough time against Scherzer, as a lot of people have. He's just 7 for 54. Check that, he's 11 for 40. He is 7 for 54. Long set. There he goes. Not a good jump.
It's hard to get a good jump against a guy that will set that long. From a hitting standpoint, you've got to ask for timeout and step out. He would have been dead to rights most likely.
Well, that's the reason they hold it on you. It's one of the bywords of when you get guys who can steal a base over there. They hate for you to hold the ball on them.
Well, that's a bit absurd, but okay. Alexei did the right thing, because instead of being lulled to sleep, he stepped out.
As a hitter, you never want to hit at his pace. You hit at your tempo, your pace, and whatever it takes to get there. If it's getting in or stepping out, you got to do it. Three runs on 3 hits for them. No runs on 1 hit for us here in the bottom of the first inning, if you're just tuning in. Outfield straight up, spread out, spaced about equidistant. just get eaten. The leadoff man in the fourth play at second. So one out. That'll bring up Abreu.
Early day game after a long night game, and Robin decided to make Jose the designated hitter today.
Abreu was 3 for 3 last night. Two for 13 against Scherzer.
During the 9-game hitting streak, an even 500.
Decent lead by Alexi. Ball is thrown away, so he'll move into
third.
Second, on his way to third. Here's the throw, and he will get there safely. So a two-base throwing error.
Exactly what Verlander did last night. So Scherzer, who has learned a lot from Justin Verlander, makes his first error of the year.
Well, our runners know one thing, that if the ball gets by Cabrera, it's going to have to be Kinsler who makes the play. Of course, he's got a long way to go. Cabrera just can't get there.
Now that ankle has really plagued him. It's bothered him for the better part of a month. It doesn't seem to be healing all that quickly.
And we, for the psyche of this ball game, desperately need to score that run. Breaking ball.
Well, the Tigers are conceding it. They're back in the infield to stay out of the big inning.
That fastball at 94. Right at the top of the zone. Tough to get up there.
Scherzer's got a little more than that when he needs it. But he started out at 90 miles an hour, and exactly what Verlander used to do consistently.
So a big strikeout, 2 down.
Throws him a slider. Good late movement in a perfect spot when you're ahead of the hitter. And Jose went out. Couldn't get it.
Here's Adam. He is 10 for 47 lifetime off Scherzer with 3 homers. And the ball is off Kinsler. Took a bad hop. So we do get the run on a break, and it's a 3-1 ball game.
For Ian Kinsler, just his 6th error in this his 133rd game. The ball jumps up and bites him, and the inning stays alive.
So here's Avi. Avi is 2 for 6 with a home run and 4 RBIs lifetime against his former teammate. So 2 errors this inning. And he takes a 92 at just a more of a get me over fastball for a strike. And another one. That one at 93. And that one at 95, 92, 93, 95, but we come up with an unearned run. We'll take it, and we trail it 3-1.
At Wrigley Field. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Cubs pregame live. It's Cubs Brewers Tuesday at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Plus.
3-1 Tigers here in the second inning. It'll be Brian Holiday, then Suarez and Davis. Holiday at 246.
Holiday with only 118 at bats this year. He's playing his 49th game. But he seems to have some luck against our pitching staff.
He's 1 for 2 against Chris, but every time we've seen him, he is a pain in the derriere. (17 at bats against this year. He has 9 hits.
That's pretty good for a guy hitting under 250.
So 1 out. And you can cover all the bases for just $79 by purchasing an Abreu 4-pack. Now each pack includes four upper game tickets, upper box game tickets, 4 hot dog value meals, and a parking pass. Abreu 4-packs are available now for all remaining Monday through Thursday games. So WhiteSox.com/Abreu to order yours. First pitch strike to Suarez, 22-year-old shortstop. And that hit him.
Trainers coming out as that one got him just above the left knee, and that can't feel real good. Astros wants a word with him because they can ill afford to lose this guy. He's been the answer in a revolving door situation at shortstop. When Iglesias went down with 2 stress fractures, 1 in each shin. They tried out a few people there, and Suarez is a guy who stuck.
Dave Clark going through his sequence of signs down at third. As here's Rajay Davis hitting at .282 with 7 homers and 43 knocked home.
He's their best base stealer by far. He's got some big speed.
Starts him off with a changeup. Rajay is 3 for 8 lifetime against Chris. That made it 4 for 9.
Davis having a very good year as a part-time player. Drives the ball into right field, just past Sanchez. And Chris is in another jam.
Ian Kinsler. Last inning, led off the ball game. Got a fastball from Chris and hit it out of here for his 13th homer, knocking in his 72nd run.
Had a good idea with Gillespie back at third, but he bunted it too hard. Probably would have been a force out if it went right at Connor.
I don't know who told you he was having a tough time with a bat this year, but 72 RBIs, 13 homers, 278 is not all bad.
Now they told me second half has been real tough for him.
Breaking ball strike. And the count 0-2.
After the All-Star break, hitting .223, but not in evidence in this series.
Not at all. Rack him up. So he gets him out in front off balance. And we'll go to the bottom of the second, trailing by 2.
Later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Gillespie, Diaz, Flowers. 3, 4, and 2 for them. 1, 1, and 0 for us. tardy. Gillespie 302, 6 homers, 48 knocked in.
What makes Scherzer so tough is his assortment of pitches. Certainly that's one, but also he can work in, out, up, down, and he does change eye levels, and he does it very well. There you look at the career. 192 starts, 1 complete game, but 88 and 49 is most impressive. And you know the man doesn't lack for confidence, because when you turn down $144 million, you have a lot of confidence.
Well, either that or that one at 94. Third strikeout for Max. Now bring up DeAston. DeAston 11 for 40 with a homer and 2 RBIs against Max.
Another good idea. Trying to lay one down on Castellanos. But dropping the head of the bat will ensure that you pop it up. Now Castellanos staying in on the grass, but he is wide of the bag at third.
Very seldom throws anything straight.
Very seldom back-to-back pitches at anywhere close to the same speed. I mean, there's always 2-3 miles an hour off just about everything, up or down.
Off down to the bat. So 2 down. Sox fans join our Sox as they honor retiring Captain Paul Konerko throughout September with tributes and special giveaways. And you can join Club Konerko. That's a special outfield section to receive an exclusive Paul Konerko collectible. So for tickets and information, visit whitesox.com/Konerko.
It's that changeup that Scherzer has. 10-12 miles an hour difference. It's really, for him, a huge difference maker.
Tyler 2 for 8 against Max. Very quickly, nothing in 2. Well, the reason he turned it down probably is because he was a finance major at the University of Missouri.
Then he figures with another good year, can't obviously depend on a Cy Young award. With another good year, he figures to get a lot more than that. And there's a few teams out there that are willing to spend it.
That's a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. He has 4 now, and he leads it 3-1.
for a chance to have it shown on our broadcast later in the game. Brought to you by AT&T.
Torrey Hunter, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez here in their half of the third inning. Torrey got a fastball and just ripped it into left field. Victor hit a slider out of here, but since then Chris has gone to a lot of off-speed stuff. There's a slider for a strike. There's a changeup and the count 1-1. Another changeup. Torrey 6 for 21 lifetime off sale. Yes, he did.
Torrey just followed that sweeper low and in. Could not check the swing and just walked away. Didn't even wait for Scott Berry to call him out. He knew it. Good location, late break.
You get so disgusted with yourself as a hitter for swinging at a bad pitch, you just get out of there.
No reason to stay around. You know you swung.
Here's Cabrera. Now he struck out on all fastballs. There was one at 93.
It's always special to throw a ball game with your parents in the stands, and that's what Chris Sale is experiencing here this afternoon. Had a chance to talk with his family before the game. They were just concerned about the rain. Don't think we're going to see much of that.
Well, the radar looks great. It's looked good all day. I mean, all morning. When I got up this morning, the first thing I did was look at it. And it's out of play. Of course, the forecast is all gloom and doom. 70%.
A couple days ago, it looked awfully bad for today. Now it looks really nice.
He gone.
Chris takes a little something off the fastball, but hits the strike zone. And Cabrera just looks. 2 strikeouts.
So here's Victor. 5 strikeouts now for Sale. Victor cranking out his 27th homer. Now has 87 knocked in. In fact, the first 4 hitters in this lineup have a bunch of RBIs.
This is what he did in the first inning. Chris wanted to get it, not like the Torrey Hunter slider that struck him out this inning, but couldn't get it down and in.
And there's a base hit.
You know how in the NBA they rework contracts to get some guys on the ball club? I think Chris Sale might be amenable to that, to get Victor Martinez over here, because he's hitting close to 600 against him and probably doesn't want to face him much anymore.
Well, sometimes you get guys' numbers and sometimes they got your number.
556 with his 2 hits today. It's absolutely amazing because Chris is really tough to hit. But not for Victor.
Well, the first 4 hitters in this lineup have 322 RBIs. Top 2 have 145 between. There he goes. And Martinez fouls it away. He struck out on the changeup.
Brad Oswald was using the hit and run, and somewhat a surprise party with Victor Martinez. He has swiped 3 out of the 5 he's attempted. As Dave Clark goes through his set of signs.
That fastball in 96. Change up. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just joining us, first of a split doubleheader. Game 2 starts at 6:10 tonight. And that game, if you can't make it to the ballpark, will be over WGN. Just got a piece of that slider.
When this game started, it was 80 degrees. Now it's up to 85. So no trouble for the pitchers to get loose today.
Oh, global warming.
Just in the course of an hour.
Tried to ace him with that one and a full count.
Menard's pitch tracks show you that it's just inside off the corner.
And that change up down into the corner. They're going to hold Victor at third on the double by Martinez.
The 6th Tiger hit. He waits back long enough for this changeup and takes it down the line.
So here's Castellanos. Struck out, called out on a fastball. Takes a slider strike. This will be the 52nd pitch here in 2 2/3. That fastball caromed off back down into the Tiger dugout, hit something, bounced back into the seats.
It was destined to be a souvenir.
In the scheme of things, this is a big at bat. That's real good pitch right there. No reason in the world to miss that pitch.
This one had the whole strike zone on the Menards pitch tracks.
No reason in the world to miss that pitch. And gets him on that one. So a big strikeout right there. They strand a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd, trailing 3-1.
Well, Southpaw Jr. Oh, not good. Not going to like the fact that someone's taking his pepperoni pizza. Cotton candy? He'd probably love some.
Sanchez will lead it off. Hitting at .273. He was 1 for 4 last night. And the count 0-2. They lead it 3-1. 3 runs in the first inning, 2 home runs. A leadoff homer by Kinsler, if you're just joining us, and a 2-run shot by Victor Martinez. That was after Torrey Hunter had singled. One out, 5 strikeouts now. And join us on Friday, September 12th at 10 p.m. as our Sox, check that 7:10 p.m. as our Sox take on the Twins. First 20,000 fans ages 21 and over will receive a White Sox Irish flat cap. That's a nice cap presented by Miller Lite. Also enjoy our post-game fireworks presented by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Miller Lite, official beer of your Chicago White Sox.
Last year when Scherzer won his Cy Young Award, he was 21-3. The numbers across the board spectacular. 240 strikeouts and 214 in the third innings. That was most impressive.
And there is another base hit. So Adam, who singled, leading off the bottom of the first.
Adam's the only one who's been able to figure out Max Scherzer. And in trying to pick him off in the first inning, Max threw one away for his first error of the year.
So that's Frankie and Michael Cristiano. They're picked to click. Alexei hit into a 5-4 fielder's choice, and he was at first when Scherzer tried to pick him off and threw it away, enabling him to get into third and score on the error by Kinsler. Outfield straight up. Martinez in left, Davis in center, Torrey Hunter in right. Low and away. Around the horn they have Castellanos at third, Suarez the short, Kinsler at second, Cabrera at first in the battery of Holiday and Scherzer.
Scherzer is tied with Rick Porcello at 15 wins apiece for the team lead. Porcello's had a very good year. In fact, his ERA is better than Scherzer's, which is most unusual, but the guy who came up to the big leagues very young has rediscovered a few things.
Well, he'll be out there tomorrow against Quintana, and Porcello's just getting better and better.
Scherzer in wins, tied with Porcello. Jared Weaver won a big ball game last night against Oakland, and Phil Hughes having a special year with Minnesota, tied with Scott Kazmir.
Breaking ball. And at 77. Had him out front. First and 30, Alexei. There he goes. Safe. But he picks up his 14th stolen base.
And despite holding it seemingly forever, Holliday does not make a good throw. And Adam Eaton in under the tag. You pretty much have to come up with that hop. Very few guys are able to smother it and then go straight down with it. That really is an art. But it takes a while to perfect that.
There he goes. And that ball hit into the gap. And it's going to one hop. So Adam Eaton's going to score anyway on the double by Alexei. And it's a 3-2 ball game.
Stolen base came in handy as it's run batted in number 64 for Ramirez.
Now he was going to steal another one had not Alexei hit that pitch.
Well, Scherzer didn't take a look at Eaton at second base, and he got a running start. But that slider caught too much of the plate, and Alexei rifles it one hop out of here.
That's his 28th two-bagger. 64th RBI. Don't stop now, boys. As here is Abreu. Jose struck out on a excuse me, on a tough pitch from Scherzer. Takes ball one.
Against the Tigers this year, and hitting against Verlander is a big part of that. 412 for Jose with outstanding numbers.
I don't think so. Meanwhile, the count 1-1.
This is a bit of a gift.
Right now, if you're a hitter, you really don't know what the zone is. So if the hitter doesn't know, the pitcher probably doesn't know. That fastball tried to rush it by him at 97. He touched on it earlier. He'll pitch it 91, 92 to 94, and then all of a sudden, if he needs 3 or 4 more MPHs. He's got it.
A couple of years ago, he wasn't that kind of guy. A couple of years ago, everything was Powder River. Not so anymore.
That breaking ball. Whoever turned the light switch on with him, he owes him a huge debt of gratitude.
Well, the great arm was always there. Jeff Jones, the pitching coach, did a nice job with him. You have to believe that he learned a lot watching Verlander in his heyday. Really used speed variance to best effect.
2-2.
The appeal, and Marcus Patillo says nothing doing.
Back through the middle and into center field for a base hit, and this game is tied at 3 on RBI number 98.
Once again, we marvel at plate coverage in RBI situations by Jose. This ball is a good 6-7 inches off the outside corner, but the man just has a sense of when to go after pitches like that with runners in scoring position. There are very few guys in the league that are going to hit that pitch. Most guys won't swing at it, but Jose knows his job, and he's done it exceptionally well. And that wasn't off the end of the bat. He got a good piece of the bat on that.
He has a different 2-strike approach. It's just that simple.
It's magnificent. It really is.
Well, we've had guys on our club that have the same swing on 0-2 as they did on 2-0.
All around baseball.
Yeah.
Same exact swing.
So it's just, he has the ability to adjust. It's almost like with 2 strikes, especially with somebody in scoring position, he's just going to play a little pepper with the pitcher.
And now with Chris Sale down 3-0 after the first 4 hitters, he finds himself in a brand new game tied at 3.
There's a little shank. 1 hop into the seats. Yeah, whenever you're watching a baseball game and you see a guy in an at bat and he has a 2-0 count and he gets a fastball down the middle and he turns it loose. Then maybe his second at bat or third at bat, he's 0-2, and he has the same swing at a slider going away. He's going to strike out a lot.
That's not good.
No. That ball hit high and deep. Corey Hunter back at the fence, looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Yes. 2-run homer for Adam Dunn. That's his 4th home run off Scherzer, and the Sox lead it 5-3. Number 460 in his career.
And yet another year of 20+ home runs for Adam Dunn. He's now driven in 54. And our forward home run replay. This is a slider. Doesn't do a whole lot. Stays on the outer third, and Adam, who doesn't get all of it, is enormously strong and takes it to the Bertucci boys.
And Avi upset with himself. He got a cookie right there. Pops it up for out number 2.
Well, that's a little better.
Two of the best pitchers in the game, and
it's
8 runs here in the first 3 innings. Anybody tells you they know this game, they're full of it. That's why it's so beautiful. Graham and I were talking about that earlier today. It's just a beautiful game to watch and observe. Greatest second guessing game in the world. You see things you've never seen before on a consistent basis. It's awesome. Breaking ball underneath it. Off the end of the bat. Suarez. And that'll retire the side, but not before a big crooked number goes up on that board. We'll go to the fourth. We lead it 5-3. As our Sox take on the A's for Military and First Responders Appreciation Day, presented by GovX. So for all current or former military or first responders, to get savings on tickets, gear, and more, visit whitesox.com/GovX. Lower third of their order here in the top of the fourth: Holiday, Suarez, and Davis. Lulled Scherzer into that false sense of security, got that adrenaline dialed down.
Then lowered the boom.
And then put the 4 spot on it. Off the end of the bat. One out. My former partner and Hall of Famer, God rest his soul, Don Drysdale, that was one of his pet peeves. Because he said it happened to him when he first came to the big leagues a lot. You get a nice lead and that adrenaline factor goes down. He said you've got to learn how to keep it up, maintain it, and treat it like it's a nothing ball game. That's foul. Thank you very much. Suarez just ripped it down there. He was hit by a pitch.
Yeah, trying to take a little revenge out from getting hit in the knee last time. This ball hit hard, and like everything hit down each line, the ball moves toward the line. Whether it's a left-hand hitter or a right-hand hitter, whether you're hooking it or slicing it, it is going to go toward the line.
Breaking ball. Sometimes, though, the seams on that ball, like that one he hit right there, when it hooks that much, especially at the last, the seams are perfect as far as grabbing the air.
It looks like a slider.
Yeah.
It looks like a really good slider going down the line.
That fastball at 93.
I think what I marvel at a lot of times, the guy will hit the ball so hard that it acts like a great knuckleball going out to the outfielders, and that's a really difficult play.
Good pitch, didn't get it.
This one on the Honda pitch tracks has a piece of the strike zone.
It is high and deep into left center field out there by Jimmy Johns. And we got a man there. Times it nicely.
That shows you
Adam Eaton.
The wind effect today. Because Suarez has a little power, not a whole lot. Gets it high up in the air where the wind can play with it. And Adam just coasts under the ball and makes the catch. Knowing he's going to hit the wall, he secures it, and it's 2 outs.
Rajai Davis singled in the hole between first and second, takes ball 1.
You can see the wind, and we talked about it, very much a factor here today. And of course, it always swirls here. It is taking the ball out to left and left center, but it didn't affect Adam Dunn's towering home run.
There's the strike. So 2-2. Now we're talking with one dog, Lance Johnson. Many occasions after a ball game, and he would just flat tell you it's just a guessing game on that wind, what it's going to do. So you look at the flags sometimes, and it's just the opposite of where the flags are blowing. Other times it's with it. Full count.
Well, you had a former teammate, first player ever drafted, Rick Monday. Used to say about Candlestick Park, you look up the flags, the only thing you can tell is that you're in California.
And you're in Candlestick Park.
Because it just was unbelievable.
So he walks good speed. Davis 24 for 26 in stolen bases.
And as you can see, the wind has not diminished one iota. Yeah, the flags on the right blowing a little more insistently than the flags on the left. That shows you the utter unpredictability of the capricious winds.
.31 stolen bases. I have 2 lists here. One of them is wrong, and 31 out of 39 is right.
Chris can pick him off if he gets a little too careless, and Rajai Davis has been known to do that.
Kinsler, that homer leading off the ball game, and then he hit into a 6-4-3 double play.
Davis was thinking about going. He had a break and then put on the brakes and went back to first.
One-two pitch. Ball hit right at him. Almost in his tracks, makes the catch. And it'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the fourth, leading 5-3. It's 3-6-2 for the Tigers. It'll be the lower third of our order. Diaz, Flowers, and Sanchez. Alejandro for 1 went out to Kinsler. Starts him off with a changeup. Just turning in. They scored 3 in the top of the first off Chris Sale. Leadoff homer by Kinsler. Base hit by Hunter. A strikeout of Cabrera. And then a 2-run homer by Victor Martinez. We got an unearned run. Error by Kinsler in the first inning. Then we added 4 in the third. Highlighted by a high towering 2-run homer. His 20th. Off the bat of Adam Dunn. Off the end of the bat. And join us on Monday, September 8th for Bark at the Park. Bark at the Park here at USA Field, presented by Avoderm Natural Nylabone. So for more information or to purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. There's a rolling curveball. Stay fair. Stay fair. It will. You can. Put it on the board. Yes. He hung it and he hurt it.
Tenth home run of the year for Tyler. Now driven in 41. And it's a 3-run lead on the second home run given up by Max Scherzer. Our fourth home run replay. Well, this one just came up there like a piñata. It was hanging right there. And Tyler doesn't miss it. The only question is, would it stay fair long enough? And the answer was yes.
Sanchez takes ball 1. He struck out swinging on a fastball his first trip. Of course, with those home runs by Dunn and Flowers, the Alex Nellius and White Sox charities will hook up in loving memory of Ursula. There's a base hit into center field.
That one almost got Darryl Boston. He was looking at the ball, and he just missed getting hit with the bat. Bat shatters, the ball drops into center field. And the head of the bat right by the coach's box.
So here's Adam Eaton. Adam 2 for 2 with a stolen base and a run scored. He was 3 for 4 last night, so he's 5 for 6 in the first 2 games of this series. A couple of rookies will start in tonight's game. Starting time 6:10, so make your plans to be with us here at the ballpark. Both making their major league debuts. Southpaw Kyle Ryan for them, and right-hander Chris Bassett for us.
Mark told you about the starters for tonight's game, and tomorrow it's Rick Porcello against Jose Quintana, as his 4-game series will conclude with the afternoon game on Sunday, then the day off and on the road for the Twins and the Indians.
That ball hit deep into right center field, and nobody's. Yes, he did. He reaches up. Torrey Hunter did not look like he was going to get there, and he reaches up and makes a long run to make a beautiful catch. Boy, he had a long way to go for that one.
Takes 2 bases away. Good effort by Hunter. Adam trying to keep his perfect day alive, comes up a touch short.
So here's Alexei. Alexei 1 for 2, an RBI double, and he has scored a pair. There's a little inside outer, a little flare caught by Cabrera. But the home run by Tyler Flowers. We go to the 5th inning leading 6-3. Offers breathtaking views of U.S. Cellular Field and delicious food and beverage options for you to enjoy prior and during White Sox games. So purchase a First Merit Bank Stadium Club membership by calling 312-674-1000. And Torrey Hunter, who made that beautiful catch running a long way as hard as he could in the right center field, robbing Adam Eaton of a double, leads it off. Torrey has singled, scored, and struck out.
Chris still looking for that first 1-2-3 inning. And to keep the pitches down and out of the pen, he could use one. Pitch number 78 on the way. There you look at the numbers, skewed because of 3 runs scored with the first 4 hitters. As Hunter gets rung up.
There you go.
Not particularly happy with it. You could make a case for why he wouldn't be happy.
Sure.
But you know what? Have a seat.
Are in the vernacular. Grab some bench. But here's Cabrera. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Torrey in his career hadn't grabbed much bench against us.
No, and he still can turn around a fastball.
Change up and the count 0-2.
Chris has done a good job of working over Cabrera in the first 2 at bats. He's been up, down, in, out. A drastic change of speeds. Got him swinging and looking.
Well, it's the first time I have seen Cabrera. I believe this is the first time, counting last night, that I've seen Cabrera where he looks like he was just looking for the ball rather than having an approach.
Well, I also believe, I mean, the best description was some unnamed person from their traveling crew said he is hitting with one leg. And if you got an ankle problem to go with that core stomach problem after the surgery, he just doesn't look the same.
No, he does not. I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen him like that. Ever. Since he's come into this league, that he looks like he's just looking for the ball. He's not thinking about an approach. He usually has the best approach of anybody in this league when he walks into that batter's box.
Well, probably one of the smartest hitters ever to go with all that talent.
No question about it. In fact, I've said this many times before, the 3 smartest right-handed hitters to be in the American League in the last 50 years have been Cabrera, Big Hurt Frank Thomas, and Manny Ramirez. Victor can't get it in the count 1-2. That fastball at 95.
If Chris can get this guy out, it would accomplish a 1-2-3 inning. Stop his perfect day. Chris might feel like asking for the game ball, because he has tormented Sale over the course of his career.
A 2-run homer and a hard single in this game.
Pitch number 87 on the way.
Martinez now 15 for 27 lifetime against Sale. That's unbelievable. 3 homers, 6 ribbies. He gone. Yes. At 96, a 1-2-3 inning. We're halfway home. We lead at 6-3. First pitch to Jose Abreu, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. Checks it up and takes ball 1. 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors for us. 3 runs on 6 hits and 2 errors for them. Just tuning in, they scored 3 in the top of the first. We scored 1 in the first, 4 in the third, and 1 in the fourth.
Chris Sale has struck out the side in 3 different innings. And first he gets Hunter, and then he gets Cabrera, and then he gets Martinez. And look at the look on Chris Sale's face. He looks in at Victor, looks up at the sky, says thank you, and walks off. Wow.
And that ball is going foul into the seats for Souvenir.
Well, Victor looked out at him also. We couldn't see it in our picture, but Victor looked out at him, gave him a smile as if to acknowledge, I know I've been owning you, but you got me that time.
It's always fun to see 2 good players battle each other, and then there's a reaction after.
Well, there's a great respect
sure.
on both sides of the
no
equation.
Question about it. One and 2 the count.
So Victor goes up and tries to get the fastball, and then looks out at Chris Sale, just stares at him for a bit, wondering how he got it by him, but he did. 9 strikeouts.
And there's a base hit in the hole. There's that 2-strike approach.
You know, you must have felt this way when you watched Frank Thomas in the infancy stages of his career. But watching Jose Abreu this year from spring training on through where we are today, he's really entertaining to watch because of his knowledge of how to hit.
He was, we've touched on this a lot, even in spring training. You could tell he's been well schooled. He's had some good teachers.
Yes,
they taught him a nice approach, and that's the whole key to hitting. He is the epitome in this league right now of a guy who lets his thoughts dictate his mechanics, where 99.9% of hitters will let their mechanics dictate their thoughts. They have the shift on for Adam, who homered his last time up. High towering drive out of here.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and it's the last at bat. A 2-run homer, a milestone, 460, 20 this year, and he's driven in 54. Abreu out of the way so he can score the run.
Two and two. Count hangs at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him for out number 1. 6 strikeouts now for Max, and that'll bring up Ivy, who was struck out and popped up to short. Headed bad back into third to pop up. He got a cookie and just missed it. He was hot at himself, as well he should be.
Scherzer having one of those days where he's made some bad pitches. He's paid the price for those. He's also made some good pitches, and our hitters have taken advantage of that with some base hits that were pitchers' pitches. There you look at some unusual numbers for Max Scherzer. You don't see that many runs into the 5th inning.
Well, Scherzer's so good that you definitely have to have a game plan against him, going in against him. Well, no, there's no doubt about that.
And you got to know that he's not going to walk you.
He's the kind of guy, though, that you've got to pick out what zone you're going to beat him in. Not so much the pitch, but what zone you're going to beat him in. And you got to stay in that zone mentally when you walk into that box. Can you beat him from just above the belt up? No, not unless it's a hanger. Can you beat him from just above the knee down? No, because it's going to be sinking.
It's also probably going to be a straight change.
Yeah, so you've got to beat him in that zone just above the knees and just below the belt. Because you're not going to get him upstairs.
No, is proven definitively by Avi today.
2 down. It's like when you're facing a sinker ball pitcher, you walk up there and you're geared mentally down, and you're saying to yourself, you got to make him get it up. You got to make him get it up. And then when you get a guy who can throw 97 like Scherzer, especially when he has 2 strikes on you, and you chase that, you're dead. You got no chance. 0. So you got to make him get it down. Gillespie has struck out, grounded out softly to short. And that's into left field right at Martinez. So that's a very quick 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the 6th with a 6-3 lead.
Tigers coverage begins at 12:30 with pregame live. White Sox Tigers tomorrow at 12:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet.
It'll be J.D. Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Brian Holiday here in the Tiger top of the 6th inning. 6-8-0 for us, 3-6-2 for them in game 1 of the split doubleheader. If you're just joining us, Game 2 starts at 6:10 tonight. And if you can't make it to the ballpark, the game will be over WGN. Starts him off with a changeup.
And what a great bounce back it's been for Chris Sale. He was shocked early. He had his problems in the second inning with a couple of men out, only one out. He had 2 on and 2 outs in the third. But he's had all the answers since that first inning.
Well, he just changed directions entirely since that first inning because he was going hard in that first inning. Now all of a sudden he started going soft. That's what you call pitching, and that's what you call making adjustments. Nice catch, Bear. Wow, nice play. Yes, he did. He gone.
That's 10 of them, and 4 in a row. This is a 17th career 10-plus strikeout game, ties the franchise record held by Ed Walsh. Did Ed have good stuff on?
Certain days he was unhittable. Certain days Big Ed was absolutely unhittable.
Well, Martinez says he didn't, but the deciding vote goes to Scott Berry, who said he did.
Big Ed had that slippery elm pitch.
A lot of pitchers had him back in the day.
And in the 60s they had him.
I tried it.
Did you?
Yeah. Couldn't keep my tongue in my mouth. So that was it. Then after that, I said, nah, thanks. I'll use something else. Something a little tackier, actually.
Castellanos over 2 with a couple of punch outs. I never saw one until the All-Star game in 1968. As there is ball 4, so the second walk hitting against Don Drysdale. First pitch he threw me came and looked like it went up and then down about a foot. And I backed out of the box. I'd never seen anything like that. And he knew that I had never seen anything like that. So he had to put his glove over his face because he was laughing. Next pitch was same one. Looks like it comes in and goes up and then goes down. I knew I was really, I knew I was screwed then. I had no chance. Then he hung me a slider.
Well, that was probably much to your liking that he didn't decide to throw another one.
There's a strike. Holiday is grounded to short and grounded out 3-1. So 1 out, 1 on. Oh, slippery elm. That one at 94, and that was pitch 98.
It's pretty amazing because 10 or more strikeout games is franchise record. But for Chris Sale, it's the 7th game this year. Now, it's a different era. It's an era where, and Hawk alluded to this earlier, where guys don't have different swings. A lot of guys on 2 strikes. The stigma of strikeouts has gone away. A lot of guys content to hit the ball out of the ballpark or strike out. In years past, that wasn't the case. There were a lot more contact hitters then. But that being said, you got to have great stuff to do what Chris Sale has done, and he's got it.
Well, the strikeouts today, most guys, if you watch them at home, you're watching the game. Like when I watch the game, I don't watch the ball, I watch the hitter. He'll tell you what kind of stuff that guy's got by his reactions. And when you see a guy's shoulders, when you're watching the game, you see a guy's shoulders very active. He's probably going to go for 4 and strike out a couple of times. And you see Abreu, when he's got 2 strikes, his shoulders are very, very quiet.
With supreme confidence that he's going to get the bat on the ball, mostly in an RBI situation.
He gone. Strikeout number 11. I'll tell you another guy, when he's swinging the bat well, which is most of the time, he had a bit of a slow start, slow years. Billy Butler, when he's got 2 strikes on him, he's got some of the quietest shoulders you'll ever see. That's why he's such a good 2-strike hitter.
Well, Billy's starting to come alive, and
well, he's going to. It's just a matter of time with him.
About 6 weeks ago, he had an interview where he told reporters, he goes, "It's coming."
Yeah.
He says, "I can start to feel it, and not going to be this way, the way it has been for too much longer." And then he started to hit the baseball.
Yeah, well, he's one of the better 2-strike hitters in baseball. As that's down into the corner, and it's foul. Thank you very much. Second time he has laced one down in that corner, foul. Eugenio Suarez, just 22 years old.
Well, there's all kinds of purposes for the K-zone sign. One, obviously, is to celebrate a strikeout. There's been 11 of those. The other is to make sure that you don't have a stroke from the heat and the sun.
We had a guy here for a while that had one of, if not the greatest halves of a season I've ever seen. That was Albert Bell. And Albert was like that. When he had 2 strikes on him, he gone. Change up. That is number 12 for Chris, and he leads it 6-3.
Tweet your photo to hashtag Chicago Fan Photo for a chance to be shown on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
It's our half of the 6th inning in a 6-3 Sox lead. Getting back to the shoulders with 2 strikes, Albert Bell, that half, you couldn't get him out. He could get himself out in that half, but you couldn't get him out. But because when he had 2 strikes on him, boy, his shoulders were just as quiet as they could be. When those shoulders get active with 2 strikes, you're probably going to strike out.
He's just one of the many great hitters and run producers the Cleveland Indians brought to the major leagues. And there was a bunch of them.
What was his last name? Joey? The first name?
Joey Bell.
Joey, yeah.
Joey Bell when he was in college.
Yeah. Yowza twice has gone out to Kinsler. Just joining us, we trailed at 3-0 going to the bottom of the first inning. They gave us an unearned run, and we scored 4 in the third, 1 in the fourth.
And as well as this game is vitally important for the Tigers, who are a half game back to Kansas City, this has further ramifications with Sale against Scherzer, because both of these guys are going to be in consideration for the Cy Young Award. Felix Hernandez got rocked last night, and Scherzer has not had a particularly good game, but it's 8 strikeouts. 20 strikeouts between these two pitchers. We're not through the 6th inning.
Well, Steve brought up something in between innings there that he didn't recall seeing anybody strike out the side 4 times in 6 innings. And I've been thinking about it. I can't either. First guy I went to thought about it, of course, was Sam McDowell. But I can't remember him striking out the side 4 times in 6 innings span.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. Tyler, 1 for 2. He got a hanger from Scherzer in the 4th and did not miss it. Banked out his 10th homer. He now has 41 driven in. Takes it right there. Right down the middle. Nine strikeouts. And we want to hear from you. Visit WhiteSox.com/TV survey during today's game. Provide us your feedback for 2 tickets to a select White Sox home game and a chance to win a signed Paul Konerko jersey and other memorabilia. Here's Carlos, 1 for 2. Drops a hook on him for the strike.
That's what it looks like with 21 strikeouts. And Scherzer on the short end of the strikeouts and the score.
One and two. So he strikes out the side, and he's got 10. Meanwhile, we're into the 7th, leading by 3.
Get the recap on today's game and all the action around the league. So don't miss White Sox postgame live today, right after the game on Comcast Sportsnet.
Rajay Davis will lead it off. Then they'll go back to the top of the order with Ian Kinsler and Torrey Hunter.
There's a young dancer. I think that's the dancer.
Davis has singled and he has walked and he has taken a swerve for a strike.
Sox bullpen up and going is Chris Sale now at 107 pitches.
Off the end of the bat. And Diaz with the catch.
The Tiger pen up and going. It's Evan Reed. And the Sox have twice as many going in the pen.
Kinsler 1 for 3 with that homer, his 13th. Knocking in his 72nd run. Even though he hadn't hit much average in the second half. He's played 43 games since the break and knocked in 22 runs. One every other day is not bad. As that's deep into left field. And Diaz is there. Makes the catch for 2 out. Yes.
Kinsler almost with his second home run of the day, and Alejandro tracking it all the way with about 2 steps before the wall, makes the catch. And Chris Sale, a pretty happy man that one stayed in the park, and Alejandro made the play.
Here's Torrey. He's 1 for 3. And that hit him. Did he swing? Torrey, get back here.
He said he swung. Well, this is going to bring Brad Osmus out, and he's going to be as hot as Torrey Hunter.
Oh.
I think the bat actually went forward after it hit him, but that being said, we'll check and see.
Well, that is not reviewable, so he will get back in the box.
That's a painful way to get a strike. He checks and goes around after the ball hits him.
Yeah, I didn't think he swung.
No, so that's actually a terrific break.
The 0-1 pitch. Turns it over, change up, and the count 1-1. High right, slicing, and souvenir time. Torrey with a beautiful catch off Adam Eaton. That was in the 4th inning, and that saved a run.
They flash up on the board that Torrey Hunter has won 9 Gold Gloves.
That fastball at 96 on his 115th pitch. And Robin trying to cut down on the outs that the bullpen will have to cover, which will be 6. Cabrera on deck. Miguel has struck out 3 times today against Chris Sale. Two and two. Tried to backdoor him and missed. Torrey all over, just underneath it. That one at 96.
I think Robin is going to give Chris Torrey Hunter. And if he doesn't get him, he'll be very tempted to go to the pen.
Different motion. Torrey said, calls time. He gone. 1, 2, 3. 7th inning stretch. We lead at 6-3.
Early, and that was it. 7 innings, 13 strikeouts, a season high. Just a terrific performance, and he leaves with the lead. Just as we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and it's a day in the life of Victor Martinez. It's a 2-run homer in the first inning, making it a 3-0 game at the time. Then comes back with a looping base hit in the third, and finally, Chris Sale strikes him out. Looks to the heavens because he was hitting .556 going into that at bat.
Oh, look at that bounce. And a nice pick by Cabrera. That is a tough break right there for Adam Eaton, who scalded that ball, hit the mound, kicked over to Suarez, who throws him out.
That's just a great play, and you're right. If it doesn't hit the front of the mound, it's probably going to scoot through. But that high hop allowed him to throw him out on the one hop. Suarez been pretty good at short.
So Adam now 2 for 4 with a stolen base and a run scored, and that's twice he's been robbed of base hits. Last time up by Torrey Hunter with that catch, and then that one by the mound.
He's coming back off the DL. He's been the man. He gets on. He normally finds a way to score. He's been out
it was
twice
3
today.
for 4 last night, so he's 5 for 8. It could have been 7 for 8. Going 1 to Alexei. Alexei has scored twice, driven in 1. He's 1 for 3. This will be pitch number 105 for Scherzer. And that is strikeout number 11. 2 down.
Max has been working awfully hard, but he had a very tough third inning. 4 hits, 4 runs, capped off by Adam Dunn's 2-run homer.
Well, in this game, he's 2 different pitchers. He's a pitcher from the windup, and he's a pitcher from the stretch. And he checks it up, takes the strike. He gets it and throws it from the windup. Takes all kinds of time when he's in the stretch.
Yeah, he goes into almost sleeper mode when he's in the stretch. Early in the game, looked like he didn't want to throw it. But from the windup, he works quickly, keeps his rhythm, and he's been very tough. Putnam and Belisario listening in the pen.
Well, White Sox fans have heard me say this over the years many times. The great Gabby Hartnett, who was a coach of mine when we were at Kansas City, said the first responsibility of a catcher is to get a pitcher in his rhythm and keep him there. That's the first responsibility of a catcher. Get him in his rhythm as quick as you can. Sometimes you might get lucky and get him in his rhythm in the first inning. He said most of the time it'll take an inning or 2 to get him in his rhythm, but find it and keep him there. And then the second responsibility is after you get him in his rhythm, try to make his second best pitch an out pitch. He said if you can do those 2 things, you're probably going to have a good performance. Abreu 2 for 3 with an RBI. That was his 98th, and he also has scored a run and extended his hitting streak to 10. And that pitch, souvenir right side.
One pitch inside, the rest way out away.
Well, he got away with one right there.
That was a roller.
That was a cookie.
right down the middle.
That was a cookie.
He tried to drop down, and when you drop down, you want to keep it away from the right-hand hitter.
Well, he dropped down, but he stayed underneath.
And that one just had sideways spin and did nothing.
And that's by Cabrera for a base hit.
That should be a base hit only in that. I don't think Cabrera had a chance to get the glove down. We'll see what they give him.
I'm putting down base hit.
I think that's a wise choice.
So he has thrown 113 pitches. He will depart, and we'll be back.
ERA 4.88 out for the 28th time. The walk situation is good, but Tigers believe that he's been wild in the strike zone quite a bit. 35 hits in 27 2/3 innings. He inherits Abreu at first base. He's 3 for 4 today. And Scherzer out of the game, giving up 9 hits, not walking anybody, fanning 11. And he's charged with the 6 runs, although 5 are earned. His responsibility, of course, Abreu.
So the shift will be employed for Adam Dunn. Adam is 1 for 3. Cranked out his 20th homer, 2-run shot in the 3rd inning. And that was number 460 in his career. 460 home runs. Takes ball 1. Takes it up. And he's got the catbird seat. 2-0. We have 6 runs on 9 hits, no errors. They had 3 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors. All 3 runs coming in the 1st inning if you're just tuning in. Three and 0. Ivy Garcia, the on-deck hitter. Three and 1 to count. Cabrera playing behind Abreu, who will be off with 2 out, and the payoff pitch. And that's ball 4. Here comes Avi. He's 0 for 3. One at bat, he had to do some damage. He got a hanger back in the 3rd inning from Max and popped it up to short. Pretty good pitch, and the count 0-2.
Avi thought it was up. Scott Berry says no, and it was in the zone.
A little too high to be chasing that one.
That time he reached back trying to get everything he's got in the tank, and that was 98. But threw it way out of the zone.
And that breaking ball high. So the count now 2-2. Gillespie on deck. And that's a souvenir right side. That one at 98. Other action will show Kansas City hosting Cleveland. That's Bauer against big game James Shields. Shields 12-7. Bauer 5-7. Minnesota taking on Baltimore at Camden Yards. And there's a base hit in the hole. Breaking ball. So they'll hold Abreu at third, and that will load him up. And here comes Gillespie. He's due. He's 0 for 3 today, 0 for 6 in the series.
Time now for our AT&T Multiview, our Uverse Multiview.
That one at 98, foul back. Outfield spread out slightly to the left. Maybe a small gap out there in right center. And that's popped up. That's playable. Castellanos makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. So we have a threat. Can't score. We'll go to the 8th, leading 6-3.
Belisario rattled out for the 54th time. He looked great last night. Pitched 2 innings, gave up a hit. That's it. And then handed it over to Lindstrom. That game had a little more separation than this one, and he's got the middle of the order to contend with.
Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and J.D. Martinez. Cabrera against Sale. Today 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Chris went 7, gave up the 3 runs in the first 4 hitters. Then gave up 3 hits the rest of the way with a couple of walks and 13 career season high strikeouts.
First pitch strike.
I don't think Miguel is all that happy about that call.
No, he's very unhappy, as a matter of fact.
It's not happy about that one. But every pitch makes somebody happy, and Ronald is very happy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meanwhile, there he goes right with the pitch and lead man aboard. This is where Chris Sale has, in his career with the White Sox, has been very unfortunate. And here comes
out away, and
Robin.
I think one man that he truly trusts, and again, Belisario last night went 2 innings, so Robin probably going to go to the pen, ask him for the baseball. Zach Putnam coming in. We'll step out and be back after these messages.
At that premium features for only $4.99. $4.99. So follow every White Sox game with live look-ins, replay reviews, live radio broadcasts, the MLB TV game of the day, and more. Download it on the App Store. Sale ends soon, so visit whitesox.com/mobile today.
Zach Putnam comes into the ball game, and he's been wonderful. On for the 42nd time. He's 4-2 in the area, 190. Good control. Been called on 5 times in save opportunities. Saved 4 of them, even though this was never his job in the major leagues. He's done a nice job of it this year, but it doesn't get any easier with Martinez and Castellanos if nobody gets into a double play.
Victor 2 for 3. What new? 2-run homer in the first and a bullet single in the third. Also, Chris struck him out in the 5th. Victor has seen Putnam 1 time, and he's 0 for 1. Takes first pitch strike right there. It might be the best pitch he gets.
Eric Surkamp, along with Jake Petrichka.
Victor, a .329 career hitter against our pitching. There's a strike. And the count 0-2. One thing about Victor, he will compete with you. He will absolutely not allow you to outcompete him. You might get him out, but you won't outcompete him. That's in the dirt. Other action, top of the ninth in Toronto. Blue Jays got a 2-run homer from Jose Bautista, his 28th in the first inning, and they lead the Yankees top of the ninth 2-0. Two balls, two strikes. Bullpen trying to cover 6 outs. Had him 0-2. It is now 3-2.
Not a lot of hitters would have laid off those splitters down and out of the zone. Victor Martinez is not like a whole lot of hitters.
Well, when you're seeing the ball as good as he is, it's not too easy, or not too hard, I should say, to lay off close pitches. When you're not seeing it that good, you're swinging it. Big pitch right here. That's huge. There he goes. And the count hangs at 3-2.
If Victor had happened to strike out, it would have been a fairly easy strike him out, throw him out. But you're dealing with a man who's fanned 38 times in 464 at bats.
Well, the only thing that Osmus is thinking about, he's just hoping that he won't line into a double play. There he goes. And there's one of the 6. So 1 out. And here is JD Martinez, who is 1 for 3, a double and a couple of strikeouts. JD has faced Zach a couple times, and he has 1 hit.
Nice stop by Tyler Flowers as he digs one out of the dirt.
If you're just joining us, they scored 3 in the first. Couple of home runs. Leadoff shot by Kinsler and a 2-run homer by Victor Martinez. We came back with an unearned run in the first. That's high into short right field. Ivy is there, makes the catch for 2 down. So that is 2 of the 6 outs.
Long run, and he made the catch.
Boy, that big man can move it. So here's Castellanos.
He is a big man.
Oh, he's big. Big and talented. Castellanos struck out in the first, the third, and he walked in the sixth. He has faced Putnam twice. He's 0 for 2. Reminder, game 2 of the split doubleheader will start at 6:10. A couple of rookies making their major league debut. For us, it'll be Chris Bassett. For them, it'll be the southpaw Kyle Ryan.
Pretty amazing the difference in 2 games. 2 of the best pitchers in baseball going head to head in the first game, and there's 9 runs up on the board, and we got 2 youngsters going head to head, and maybe a look at the future for both teams.
One and 2 the count.
Changing speeds in the same spot usually gets a hitter. He swung and missed at a splitter the first pitch, and that fastball was in the same spot, but 4 miles an hour faster.
He gone. Good job by Putnam. Retires all 3 he sees. Now we only got 3 outs to cover. For us, it'll be the lower third of our order. Diaz, Flowers, Sanchez. Alejandro twice has gone out to Kinsler, and once he has struck out. High and wide. Count evens at 1. Pulled a string on him. Had him off balance in the count 1-2. And our first round pick, Carlos Rodon, has 31 strikeouts in 19 and 2/3 minor league innings.
There was never any doubt about the stuff.
One out. So here's Tyler. Tyler 1 for 3, but it was a big one and a long one. Got a hanger from Max and didn't miss it. Cranked out his 10th homer. Now has 41 driven in.
Brian Holiday goes out. He wanted a word with Evan Reed. Brad Ausmus talking things over in his dugout. And the outfield playing straight away and very deep for Tyler. Little chopper to second base. Well played by Kinsler. Throws it across for the second out. So quickly, 2 up and 2 down. And Carlos Sanchez, who's 1 for 3, couple of strikeouts, and his base hit coming in the 4th inning. And here comes Brad Ausmus. He's going to go to the pen and turn Sanchez around from the right side. So as McCoy comes in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. He has no record. 4.38 ERA. 20 hits and 12 1/3. That's a whopping total. We saw him briefly last night. He pitched the 3rd of an inning, gave up a hit, walked one, and then gave way to Al Albuquerque. Apparently Brad Ausmus wants to see what Carlos can do from the right side. Slices that ball to right field, and it's going to be a quick 1-2-3 inning. So we'll head to the top of the 9th. Sox lead 6-3. He's looking for save number 10. And this is his 13th opportunity. 0-4 ERA, still very good at 286. And he has the advantage of facing the bottom part of the order. We'll probably be looking at least one pinch hitter. As the Sox lead by 3, and Petrichka trying to nail it down.
Ezekiel Carrera will be hitting for Holiday. Third count. He was called up. He's the 26th player for this doubleheader. Also a roster move where Scott Carroll was sent out. Optioned out. Chris Bassett will be making the start in game 2 of this doubleheader tonight. In case you're just tuning in.
I don't think Scott's going to do any traveling. I think that was just a clerical situation.
Sure,
after
it is.
Throwing 5+
Sure it is.
in last night's game.
You know, it's just a.
Got to do it.
Yeah. It's the rules.
And you need to have that full pen. And a youngster making his major league debut in the nightcap.
Well, we got to cover 3 outs, boys. One and 2 the count to Carrera. He played last night. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Two and 2. Get real cute. No walks. They can hit his way on.
As soon as the Tigers traded Austin Jackson, and we were playing them at the time, Carrera became their everyday center fielder.
Pokes that one. Yeah, and he made the highlight reels a couple times out there.
He's a good defender.
He made one spectacular catch.
Got great speed, always has. We saw him with the Cleveland Indians. He was good back then, but couldn't swing the bat very well, but seems to have remedied that somewhat.
And there's another souvenir. He gone. There's one of them.
Biting slider low and in. And Carrera went over the top of that. You're not going to hit it there, and if you can't lay off it, the result is that.
So that's the 15th strikeout by Sox pitching. And if you're just tuning in, Chris Sale in 7 innings had 13 of them. So here's Suarez. He was hit by a pitch, went out deep to left center, and he struck out. Two and 0. 2 outs to cover.
And you certainly don't want to turn over the lineup and go deep with Kinsler and Hunter. And if anybody gets on Cabrera, there's some danger if you go anything other than 3 and out.
That's why against this club you don't walk guys, you don't make errors, you don't turn the lineup over.
That was a key for Chris Sale. I mean, did hit 1, walk 2, but when you fan 13, you can have that big bounce back after disastrous first inning. And then his offense had something to say about it.
So the last thing you want to do is walk somebody.
Guerra and Serkan.
So here's Rajay Davis. Single, walked, and gone out to left. There's a strike. Adam not holding Suarez on, playing in front of him. All right, Rajay, here comes the fastball. See what you can do with it. And there's a base hit up the middle. So the walk, now the hit, and the tying run walks to the plate.
The count got him, and he threw one right down the middle, and Rajay Davis, his second hit, hits it right back up the middle. No sense gambling for Suarez, and Don Cooper now coming out to the mound. This will probably not be the friendliest of conversations.
Well, never mind.
And Don does not want his lips read.
Nor do I want mine heard.
Getting into the danger part of their lineup, the top of the lineup.
There's Kinsler. He's 1 for 4 today. He homered, leading off the ball game. Then he hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Then he hit a rocket right to the Yaza in left field. And then he hit a ball deep into left field. Yaza went up against the fence, made a nice catch. First pitch strike. All right, let it go. Come on now, and rack him up. This ball game is over. So Jake made a good pitch, hit him on the fist. And the Sox even up this series at a game apiece. As indeed the bullpen did cover Stevie's 6 outs.
Well, that's what a good pitching coach does. He goes out, tells the pitcher who's having some trouble, hey, throw a ground ball, get a double play, you get the save, we're out of the game with a win. And Alexi's strong arm and the inability to break it up at second base by Rajay Davis, it's a game ender. And the first game belongs to the Sox.
And our GMC professional grade player of the game is our 25-year-old southpaw Chris Sale. All he did was go 7 innings, give up 3 runs, all those coming in the first inning. 6 hits, 2 walks, had 13 strikeouts. Our GMC professional grade player of the game. So for my partner Steve Stone, for our director Jim Andrew, our producer John Walgren, our associate producer Dave Ross, our technical manager Mark Harper, also for the mayor Mean Joe Grube and the executive producer Jim Corno Jr., for Frank Leone, Mike Mayer, Frank D'Amato, Jeff Hilbert. This is a Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Yes.